Hey everybody, welcome back to Still Can't Cook. This is Kelley, the host. Clearly, there's no one else here. To the side is Oliver. You may see him, or a tail may pop up. But I'm not going to talk about my dog this episode. What dog? I don't even have a dog. What I am going to talk about are things I don't want to get started on. But why am I starting on them then? See? Got to change the name of that. I think I'm going to call it my pet peeves because things fucking annoy me. One of the things that really gets under my skin is when someone chews loud, which my dog is doing right this second. You guys can't hear it. But when a man, I say man, anyone, I'm sure women chew loud too, but I tend to date men. When a man chews loud and you can hear them and you can hear the I can't talk about it without wanting to throw up, but it's the sound of the teeth with the chew and with the food inside the mouth. Like you can actually hear it. I was out recently in a restaurant and I could literally hear the person across the aisle from me eating their food. There's a thing, and I have to look at my phone because I'm gonna look. There is a thing, it's got a name, and the name of it is misphonia. Look at that, the pun, phonia. I'm misphonia. It's called misphonia, and it's that you get this thing where it's fight or flight when you hear noises that make you sick. It doesn't have to be just mouth noises. There's other weird, like I can't handle tapping. Fucking tap, don't shake your leg next to me. Any tapping, any kind of weird noises make me crazy. And I know chewing isn't a weird noise. And I have been told that I don't chew. I eat so fast, and I think it's because I was the youngest of four, and I think they used to steal the food if it was good. I don't even chew. I have a friend of mine who says that she has never seen me chew. I think I probably chew once before I swallow it. Anyway, at least I don't make weird chewing noises. So weird sounds, one I can recognize the most, which is chewing, makes me crazy. And this misphonia, I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. It gives you this fight or flight instinct. So anyone who knows on again, off again would know there is not a human alive that makes as many noises as that man makes. So we were at dinner one night and he and I were both together at the table with on again, off again and a couple other people were eating. And he kind of gave me the like, are we going to kill people look? And I want to kill people too. And then later on that night, he said, I think we both have this misophonia thing where people's sounds make you want to kill them. So it's a fight or flight. And now I know why I used to always get into arguments at dinner when I was eating with on again, off again, because it was the sounds. It wasn't anything that he was saying. That's a lie. It's typically what he was saying. I'm going to make myself really crack up on that one. Yeah, it was his chewing. That's the only thing that bothered me about him. Kidding. He's great. Love everything about him. We're not talking right now, but whatever. Just ride the wave. It's fucking tasting the rainbow, Kelley's version. Ride the wave. On again, off again. Off again at the moment. The other thing that really annoys me is when people are fucking late. Let's talk about this. Anyone who knows me knows I'm chronically early. Chronically early. If I tell you I'm going to be there at 10:02, I'm there at 22. My flight's at 3 o'clock. I'm at the airport by 1. And I always have I have the clear and the thing, then you go through the TSA, so I have all the stuff. But still I get there early because I think being late is rude, even to Delta. But there are people, i.e. my housekeeper, who might be listening right now, who literally will say I'll be there at 1:30 and she don't come running until 1:50. By 1:34, I'm starting to go, what are you doing? How do you be late? I was going out to dinner the other night with a group of friends who were in Soho, and I am not. I'm at the ass end of Manhattan. And I got to the restaurant. I sat at the table and had a drink before they ever came across the street from their hotel. And I'm like, how the fuck are you guys late when I'm... Not that I love my friends. They're allowed to be a little bit late. But I think lateness is rude. I do. I think that being early, I have it like my father had it, which was annoyingly early. And I know sometimes it's pressure on people. And I don't want to be that friend that you have to rush for. If you're on time, that's great. I have another friend, chronically late Yadira. Chronically late. So I can be late for her because I know she's going to be late. But I'm still early for her, if that makes any sense. I run a little bit later because I know she's always psychotically late. Anyway, so the things I don't like this week that you guys can talk about is that I can't stand mouth noises or weird noises like tapping or shaking of the legs or anything weird, which is misophonia, which I'm mispronouncing because I don't know how to try to spell it. Misophonia and lateness. So imagine if you come late and then chew your food and rock your leg, I'd kill you. Welcome to Kelley and things that she thinks is weird. The other thing I think is weird is I can't have anything askew. Like, so right now there's a plant in my house that's like the Leaning Tower of Pisa, and I think I might have to get rid of it because I can't remove it from its pot I can't do that. I can't put the dirt. I can't. This is never going to happen. I have a little terrace, but even the thought of putting the dirt on it, I know there's people who do potting or whatever that would be, planting. I can't do that. I buy a plant. It comes in the pot it's going to stay in for the rest of its life. It will die inside that pot. And that's it. That's the story of my plants. This guy, as he grew up, he grew sideways. And it's behind me right now, and it's making me absolutely crazy because I keep trying to bend it and I can't bend it. Anyway, I have some specific things. So don't make weird noises. Don't chew. Don't say but when you compliment me. Don't give me a fucking benty plant, and we'll be fine. Things are going to be great. So now that I got that all off my chest, I feel better. I feel lighter. I feel more zen. I want to get a little romantic with you guys because Valentine's Day is coming on Friday. What are you guys doing? I'm doing nothing. That's what's happening here. And, I kind of think Valentine's Day sucks. It's one of those stupid holidays that you feel like you're supposed to do this amazing thing. Like every year, it's always supposed to be like, oh, it's going to be so romantic. It's going to be... No, never. It never is. I mean, it's great to get flowers. I get flowers a lot. And then what? It's like, what are we supposed to do next? Dinner's never the best it's supposed to be. Then you got to give a fuck about what you're wearing and getting dressed up. When you're in a relationship for a long time, just send the flowers. Right? Just send the flowers. I think we need to start giving and receiving compliments without, when you're getting the compliments, pointing something out about yourself that you don't like. Or if you're giving the compliments, putting in that always expected, really fucking irritating but. I don't want to hear a but. You look good, but. You look pretty, but. And if someone compliments me, like, oh, I love your hair, I'm like, oh, I know, but my skin. Like, what the fuck? We have to learn to take a compliment, and we really need to learn to give a compliment. It's so okay to tell somebody they're great without telling them what's not great about them. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about. I don't want to make it too personal because I don't want the person knowing I'm talking about them. But it is really, when someone's going to say something kind, especially to me, let me just say, when someone compliments me, I tend to self-deprecate in some weird way. Like, oh, you think that's great, but you should see that. Like, I don't ever really take a compliment. I had a friend said to me once, you can just say what's great and not have to always level it out with what's not great. Like, I'd say something like, oh, I got this really great shirt. Oh, but I can't really afford it. I'm not good at promoting myself without minimizing it or saying something negative. I'm not good at taking a compliment without pointing out why it's either funny or there's something wrong. And I feel like I think I do give good compliments, but I think that we should all be able to compliment each other without there being a but behind it. I think people get insecure in giving. I don't know. This is just, again, it could be above my pay grade. I'm not a therapist, but like, what is it about people that we can't just say, hey, you look great today. You look great. You're killing it. You're funny. You're beautiful. We're so much more comfortable and imagine if I said, hey, I feel great today. I feel confident. I feel like I look good. I feel like I look skinny. People be like, oh, sure. But I can tell you I feel like shit. I can tell you I'm having a fucking stress day. I can tell you when I feel fat. All that shit's totally acceptable. But if we boast about ourselves or actually just see ourselves as we are, somehow people get in their panties, get a twisted in panties about it. You can't, I don't know. I think that right now it's Valentine's Day. Let's be kind to each other. Let's compliment each other. You guys look great. You look fabulous. And like, say something nice to your partner or your friend or your girlfriends if you're going to be celebrating with a group of friends. I don't know, Glamtime Day? Glamantime? Is there like a Friendsgiving? Is there a Valentine's Day for chicks that are hanging out? I wonder if there's a dude's Valentine's Day where they all just sit around and save money because they don't have to fucking spend it on anybody else. So my Valentine this year is Oliver, which is very nice and I'm very happy. He's not going to get me anything, and I'm not going to get him anything because he doesn't even know it's a holiday. He's a dog. But it's because I'm not talking to on again, off again. This is the update. We're off again. This is what happens. But because Valentine's is coming up, I think I should reminisce on some better times. And we have had some. I have one Valentine that was so special. It was some years ago. But so I'm completely obsessed with a few things. You'll learn as we go. Kermit the Frog, if you see his legs, dead. Other thing I'm obsessed with are sloths. What are they? How come they look like that? How come they're the cutest thing ever? Why do they have those faces? Why do they have a certain amount of claws each? What's going on? They hang upside down. They're so tired all the time that moss grows on them. Could you imagine being that slow that moss actually grows on you? But they're the cutest thing in the world. Been obsessed my whole life. Love a sloth. So Valentine's Day in Miami, don't know what year it was. I was surprised by On Again, Off Again, and he rented out the monkey jungle. And I didn't know what to expect, but it was beautiful. If you haven't been to the monkey jungle, I highly recommend going. They have little teeny tiny monkeys that run all over the place free, and they jump on you and you feed them. And I thought this was my Valentine. I was totally stoked. I don't know what they're called. They're the little guys, the little tiny guys with the cute little feet. And they sit and they eat. Oh, they're everywhere. They jump out of the trees, and it's amazing. They're all over you. And I thought that was the greatest thing ever. And we had the place to ourselves. I'm like, fucking so fancy. And then as we go through, when I think I can't love monkeys more in my whole life, we get to the end of the gate and there is the sloth house. And in front of the sloth house was a table with champagne and cheese. Yeah, he was good. He was good. Anyway, so I got to go inside the sloth house. And for the first time in my life, I saw a living, breathing, moving sloth. First of all, we got to go inside the cage. Okay. How am I ever mad at him? No, forget it. I get mad at you a lot. Don't take this. It was sweet. He's done a lot of stupid shit too. This was kind of nice though. We went inside the cage and this little thing was sleeping and you get like, at first you pet it. And the funny thing is a sloth feels like over hairsprayed hair. I don't know if you guys saw my first episode. That's what a sloth feels like. It feels like that hair, like looked like I had a helmet on. Anyway, I probably hate my hair in this episode too. But sloths feel like very dry, sticky, not dry, sharp, sticky, moist things in their hair. Over hairsprayed in humidity is what they feel like. And so I pet it, and then all of a sudden, it woke up. And I about lost it. I was crying like I couldn't help myself. And this little thing looked over at me, and I fed grapes to a sloth. Hand-fed it. And sobbing like a psycho child. But all of a sudden, it started to wake up, and it started to move. And here's the thing about sloths that I did not know, is that they're not that slow. This dude booked on, but he goes upside down. So they're slow a lot and they do things slow because when they're on the ground, they're like slinkies. Like they don't have any, they're very small, they're slow crawlers is what they are. So we think and they sleep a lot and they look so sleepy all the time. But they're really not slow. On a branch, this guy flew. As soon as he was awake and he had his, I powered him up in the grapes, he was like really he went at a faster speed I would ever expect. But anyway, that was a Valentine's present. We sat afterwards, after we fed the sloths, we sat outside the sloth house and had champagne and meats and cheeses and stuff. So he gets a couple points for that. That was a very sweet Valentine. But the rest of them all suck typically. You know how many times I probably bought him the same card over the past 13 years and vice versa? Like, it's just, I don't know, it's such a Hallmark holiday. And I think that if you love somebody, love them every day. Go back to my compliments. Say nice things. I am starting to do these, I sleep to positive affirmations and really waking up with a lot of, like, having a lot of gratitude, like just being really grateful and really thankful for the little things, like for my pillow. You know, I say, how about this? I just said pillow like it's a little thing. I walk around New York City, man. I'm looking at people sleeping on fucking streets without a pillow. So a pillow is not a little thing. But we take this shit for granted. So I'm trying to have a lot of, especially in the morning at night before I go to sleep, I'm doing these thank yous, and I'm so lucky to have, and I'm so grateful for. With this Valentine's thing, like if we don't want to do the cards and the bullshit dinners, and just say something nice to each other, or tell each other what you value about each other. I think it's extremely important. One of the things with On Again, Off Again, that I think I've said it to him, and he doesn't see it yet, but it's like as many times as we say what we don't like about each other, can we just take a fucking one day to be nice? One day, just say all day long, let's compliment each other the entire day. What do you like? What's great about me? What do I think is great about you? I think it's extremely important, especially now, like with everything going on in the world. If you have someone, whether it be a best friend, a bunch of friends, a person, a partner, a lover, man, tell them how much they mean to you, because shit happens like this. I mean, look at the fires. Look at LA fires. People lost fucking everything, including, things they can't, I know houses are horrible, but like they lost pets and they lost, pictures and things they can never get back. I don't want to make anything sad, but I think it's extremely important that we don't take anybody for granted. And with this holiday coming up, like, tell the people that you love them. Give someone a compliment without a fucking butt. Chew with your mouth closed. Don't tap on anything. And don't be late. Look at that circle back I just did. See all the things? Those are all the things. Do all of that for me. Anyway, so that's what's happening with me. Valentine's Day, fucking on again, off again. Yeah, it's been a weird little road with him where we're not talking right now. The second, and it's fine. We will again talk. But it was, I wasn't going to bring this up, but I'm going to bring it up. Just a quick story. So I just went to Miami to visit him. And while I was flying to Miami to visit him, I was very under the weather, seriously not feeling well. And on the flight, on the way there, I don't know how anybody else is, but with me, if I'm really sick, I might be able to move through it, but my emotions are very strong. I get very emotional, whether it's sad or I'm just all in my feelings. That's important. So I'm on the plane, I'm going to see him, and I'm saying how sick I am, and he twisted it and asked me to do something that was just so off track of how I was feeling and what we had been saying. Like, I want to come rest and be taken care of. And he just twisted it into another. Well, I guess we're going to go on to that. He made it sexual. And I was like, right now, between me blowing my nose and like hacking up phlegm, what part of this do you make? I don't feel sexy at all. I don't want to feel sexy right now. So it became an argument via text on the flight. And I said, I'm not coming. And do you know what I did? I flew to Miami. I got off the plane, got my luggage, walked to another airline, bought another ticket, and circled back and never left the fucking airport. Me. First of all, 12 hours of travel when I'm just going to Miami is bananas. My dog didn't know what the fuck was happening. But I was like, you know what? I need to take care of myself. He's clearly not on the head to take care of me right now, and it wasn't. I thought I was making it a less of a big fight. Well, I was wrong. Don't not go to him when you're supposed to. So that's why we're not talking. Turning around and coming back home, I was like, I'm going to do something good for me. And I stick by the fact that I did that because I was really, really sick. And he really isn't someone, aside from bringing me to have the sloths, get fed grapes, he really isn't someone who's very able to take care of me in the way I needed him to take care of me. And I found, when I got back, it was like the full-on flu. So anyway, just getting to that. One of the things that I want to talk about is keeping a relationship sexy when you need to keep it sexy, right? And what I did, which is going to, kind of contradicts my whole thing about leaving him when he said that. But I was sick. See, that's what I'm saying. I was oversensitive. 99 other times I would have been fine. I would have been like, okay, I was just like, I'm sick. I'm going home. And I don't know, I had like a tantrum on an airplane. I did, though. But I've never done that. That was crazy. Trying to book a flight while you're on a flight, which of course you can't do. Did you know that? You can't do that because I was in the air. So it seemed sketch. So I had to wait till I landed. All the things I learned. Anyway, so one of the things that I did do, and they're really good, and at some point, maybe, possibly, I'll read one of them. But to keep it going, we were apart a lot. We long distance a lot. And when I was a kid, I used to write stories. I always loved writing, right? So at one time, we were on the phone, and he was actually he was living at the hotel when we first met. And he said to me, oh, so you like to write? Write a dirty story. And I said, okay. And I said, give me 5 minutes. And we hung up the phone, and truly, in 5 minutes, I wrote filth. Like, whew. This one was in a helicopter. We both still remember the first story. So I write this really dirty story, and he calls me back, and I read him the story. And he's like, okay, where'd you get that? I said, no, I wrote it. He goes, get the fuck out. You didn't write that. Did you get it online? I'm like, you Google whatever you just... He couldn't Google. If Google sat next to him, he wouldn't know what Google was. I said, I promise you I didn't. We can look it up together because, you could take a line and see if it's written anywhere. I'm like, this is on me. I wrote it. Oh my God, you're gifted. That's amazing. So what began the story of write another one, right? And that's another thing with him. Once is never enough. Have another one. I had my niece Kelley used to say, and we used to give her candy. She was very good. She used to eat really well, but we'd give her, whatever we gave her, she wasn't on time, she'd be like, just one more, then that's it. One more, then that's it. That's fucking him all the time. One more, there's never that's it. Anyway, so the stories. So I would write a story, and every story was like more twisted than the next. It's kind of, they would be BDSM based, kind of dominant and submissive, and it was a whole new world of discovering things I could come up with in my mind. I wrote about shit I have never done and in great details. Anyway, so I have probably 400 to 500 stories at this point, because I started writing them for him in 2012, and it would be like in one day 10 stories, because I would write them in episodes. I'd get it to the point, we used to say it called to be continued, because what I thought would be really sexy about it is I'd get you right to the point of climax, and then I'd stop, and then you'd want to read the next one. And I did that like without even realizing I was doing it. So anyway, so I have all these stories now, and I think that it's probably my fault that I'm so talented. I make him ask for sex all the time. I spoiled him. Don't ask for sex when I'm sick. Something about my boogers makes it less attractive. Keeping it sexy after a long time together. So one of the funny things about the stories is very few people read them but him, because if you read the stories, you'd be like, you wrote them? And I have family. Like, I can't have people thinking I did this shit. But what I did do, I've let 3 or 4 friends read the stories. One of them was Dean, my friend Dean. And he called me. He's like, yo, I was on an airplane and I read your fucking story and I had to get you out of my head so I could jerk off. People who read the stories are shocked at how deep they go, how dirty they get, and need to kind of somehow get my face and body and out of it. Because, you know, I did have one person call, my friend John. I let people who I think, I didn't let guys read the stories who I thought would want to sleep with me after reading the stories. And I always preface, like, I've not done any of this stuff. Like, I've never been chained to the ceiling. I've never had a group orgy. I've never had sex in a restaurant. All are in my stories. I gave it to my friend John, and he's like, I can't unsee you. He's like, it's really well worded, but I can't read them because I can't unsee you. So John never really finished the story. Dean went all in. Keeping it sexy is not always easy when you've been in a long-term relationship. And I think that I did not do that when I got off the plane and did not go see him because I was sick. But the truth is, honestly, swear to God, it was a really big dramatic, I had a whole telenovela by myself. And it's turned out poorly because he's really pissed at me now. And I still stand by that I left and didn't go to Miami. But when it's all said and done, like I'm telling the story about the sloth, right? That could never have happened without him. So I think sometimes when you have someone you value, you got to give them a little bit more leeway. And I didn't give him a lot of leeway on the plane. But I think it's because I was sick. So, and again, I forgot, I'm not apologizing. Remember, in 2025, there's no more apologies because I'm menopausal. So I'm not apologizing. But I could have done things differently. That's all I'm going to give on that one. So that being said, I'd like to talk more now about the dirty stories and what those things lead to. So apparently, some people, not everybody, masturbates. It's coming up because a friend of mine had said that she's never had a vibrator. She's never owned a sex toy. Now, I don't know what your deal is and what your choices are, but that's fucking nuts. That doesn't make any sense to me at all. And if you don't, good for you. But let me just tell you something. Save some time. Get a vibrator. So much quicker. So much easier. I Instacart, right? I Uber. I do all the easy things. I'm not doing that by myself with no help. What? I'm so lazy. There's not even a chance in hell. Point is, vibrators, great gifts for Valentine's Day for your girlfriends, if you know what they like. Because the other thing about vibrators, which I found out from a girlfriend of mine, who you're going to meet, is everyone got a different thing. So if you do, have you ever seen a vibrator? I've actually seen one. They have all these different cycles, right? And you really think, like, I think, who uses anything other than the basic zzz? What the fuck else do you need? They got all this. Who's using those things? I want to know. Well, I know. My best friend. She's turning me on to this thing. You got to get there. I got to try this. Oh, this thing. It's so great. So good. He takes it and hides it when he leaves. He doesn't want me to have it alone. Okay, I'll listen to you. You've been right about a lot of things our entire life, so let me try this. You know, holy shit, no. I have no idea what she's thinking. I don't know what she's got or how her body's made that mine's not. But that, I felt like I was crawling out of my own skin. Absolutely not. It was like an electric shock to my body, which is hot in my stories, but not hot in real life. Sometimes. What she likes and what I like, what everyone likes is different. So this is important. If you're going to give the gift that keeps on giving, as long as you keep on charging it, find out what your friends like. Don't just automatically buy them what you like. Or do it and just learn through it like I did. She told me to buy this thing, I bought this thing, and it's like still in a bike. What do you do? What do you do? Can't return it. Surely can't give it away. Go less. Less is more when it comes to a vibrator. That's this thing she was talking about was like, I think it drove itself to my house. It had a lot. It was like a vibrator and a vacuum cleaner. I think I could have blown my hair with it. No puns with the blown. It was a lot. Had a lot of zing zong zooms going on. I don't even think it had a zzz. It didn't even have that. It had all this stuff. Anyway, whatever you like, you like. I'm just saying for me, if anyone wants to buy me a present, zzz, all the way is all I need. I don't need anything fancier than that. Anyway, why do I feel weird about talking about masturbating? Guys jerk off and talk about it all the time. Women don't talk about it. I mean, we do. No, actually, we don't. I don't think we talk about it. So here's another thing I really want to talk about. Letting a relationship control you when you're no longer in the relationship. So you guys are kind of up to date with what's going on with me. We're not in a relationship. We are, well, first of all, let me just fix this. I said this once. I don't know another word for it, right? I'm in a relationship with my doorman. I'm in a relationship with a neighbor. Like, there is a relationship. So I don't know when you're not a couple that's committed, what we're supposed to call it, but of course I'm in a relationship with him. That being said, it is so frustrating for me to try to make choices on my own outside of this relationship without having his opinion or how it would affect him, because it won't. I stay out of my brain. Like, I'm trying to go on a trip. I'm booking a trip for myself, and I can't tell you the anxiety that I had. And like, is he going to get mad? What if I go on this trip? And if I go on the trip, and what if he calls me up on the trip? Is he going to get mad that I'm on the trip? Is this the right place to go? Where would he go? What is he going to say? Well, shut the fuck up. You're not even here. You're not even texting me back. Why am I letting you text inside my fucking head? I have a full conversation in my head about, you shouldn't really go there because if you go there, and I'm arguing with the person who's not even talking to me before I buy a ticket, because I'm afraid that if I buy a ticket, he's going to somehow be mad at me. In the relationship, he was really in charge of a lot of things. And that, I'm new fashioned and old fashioned, right? I want to be able to do a podcast, and I also want to be able to have you take out the garbage and I make the bed. I believe in the old-fashioned roles in a relationship, as much as I don't, because I also was a boss. I'm still a boss. And I can be very controlling. I know that's shocking for anyone to hear. I'm immediate. Like, if I email you and you don't respond back in fucking 5 minutes, I'll flip out and I'll be like, did you get that? Like, I have some certain controlling things. So it's strange for how much of my control I really did lose in this relationship. And I don't know if I would have lost it in any relationship, or it's just because he is so dominant in so many ways and came in and kind of swooped me in my brain, even though he's not here. So as I'm booking these tickets and I'm looking at these airlines and I'm trying to figure out where I'm going, he is in my head. And I actually was afraid, and not in a he's going to hurt me kind of way, because that's not his vibe, but in a like, how is this going to come back to bite me in the ass from being independent kind of way? And I think it will, to be honest. I bought the tickets, and today we had a text conversation about something, and I said I couldn't help myself. I said, and by the way, I'm going, and I said it, and I wrote it to him, and he didn't respond to it. So it took a little while, and I was like, you know what? Fuck, what am I doing? I'm allowed to be independent. Like, I'm allowed to not tell him. He could be in Taiwan right now. I have no idea. And you know what? If he wanted to be, he would be, and he wouldn't give a flying shit how I feel about it, because we have lived like that for 13 years. But yet here I am booking this bullshit little trip and afraid to tell him, or afraid how he's going to feel if I don't tell him. So anyway, I went back and I deleted the text message. And he said, no reason to delete it. I already read it. I'm like, argh. But it's fine. He didn't make any comments about it. But it is kind of an odd thing, I think, that you can be out of a relationship, for lack of other words, for a better way of describing it, and not feel independent enough to make decisions on your own. Or at least for me, I really get like, almost like I'm afraid he's going to get mad. I'm going to hurt his feelings when we're not talking. Is that strange? Is it a strange thing? I don't know. I don't know if he has more power than other people have in other relationships, if that's just me, but it is kind of frustrating, because it happens to me a lot. I'll put off, like if we're arguing around a holiday, I will put off trips. This last New Year, I waited till like 2 days before New Year to make a plan when I had all these things going on, because I was like, well, what if he wants to see me? Like, I leave these gaps of time open in case he wants to see me, and we're broken up. I'm the best ex-girlfriend in the world. What is it about certain people in our lives that they can control us even when they're not around? I feel like that of a parent, you know? I feel like parents have that kind of control. I don't know what it is, but I feel like it's really difficult to make decisions for myself as a single woman without wondering how he's going to feel about it. And respectfully, I did actually share my choice to travel. So I think it's a strange truth for me. I don't know how you guys feel about it, if you have that. And I don't know if it's with every relationship or just with mine, but I definitely have a hard time making major decisions. Like, I wouldn't move without telling him. He would move. He'd buy a house. He has bought places, sold places, moved places without me ever having any idea. For me, I'm almost like, there's a part of me that feels like it's not safe if he doesn't know about it, which is kind of strange. I got to take a look at that. I'm going to put that into my next therapy session. Hydrate, because you guys are going to drink a lot of alcohol and champers for Valentine's Day. Eat some chocolate. Oh, that thing about chocolate, right about Valentine's Day, chocolate gives you the same chemical that love gives you, right? Or something like that. Is that the vibe? But the thing is, I think that's dark chocolate. Hey, are you a dark chocolate? I'm a light milk chocolate. I do not like dark chocolate. I like milk chocolate, everything. And the cheaper the chocolate, the better. You better Hershey me all day. Love a Hershey's bar. You know, I dated a guy, the love of my life, before the love of my life. I've mentioned him before. And on our first date, he asked me, what should I bring on our first date? And I told him, and I wonder if you'll remember this, I told him to bring me a Nestle's Crunch Bar and a flower. And he did. He brought me, I don't know what they're called. There's flowers in like the New York delis where it looks kind of not tulipy. Tulipies are these things. It looks like if you were going to draw a flower, it's got the circle and the butt, like if you were going to draw a flower like a child, the center and then petals, flat flower. He brought me one of those, and they come in different colors. You can buy them in the delis here. Now I kind of aim higher, although I should probably do that again. Ask the next guy who wants to take me out to bring me a Nestle's Crunch Bar. The good thing about him is that he actually did it. I was living in Williamsburg on Roebling. Dos 25 de Roebling was where I lived. I know that because every time I called for car service, that's what they would say. That's how I learned Spanish. Dos 25 de Roebling. Things have changed a bit. I don't ask for Nestle Crunch Bars anymore. I don't even ask for shit. But I get better things than Nestle Crunch Bar when I get things, but I think I should start asking for what I want. I did actually get the flower, and I did get the Crunch Bar. And now, I don't even get a text back. So I'm born and raised here, right? So I have my people. I have my forever friends. As I've mentioned to other people, and I don't know if you've ever watched any other podcasts, go back and watch them. I'm really fucking interesting. But I've had friendships that ended. And, you know, good riddance, love you, see you. We were great, we weren't great, things change, we're all good. I have no hard feelings for the friends that came and gone. We were there when we were supposed to be and ended when it had to end. That being said, I've met amazing new people being 25, 30 years, right? These are the new friends. And they're my people. Then there are other friends. There are other friends, there are filler friends, which is the friend that just fill the spaces that you need filled. And this sounds fucked up, but ride the wave with me because it's all going to come together. There are friends, like you have your people who, I have my people. I can't push this on anybody else. I have my people who I can roll up in bed with, watch a movie, not talk, not do anything, go to bed, you go to bed, order in, you're my girl. That's it. Then I have people who's like, oh, would you like to have a wine 5 o'clock on Friday at the local restaurant, and we just do our thing, and then you go home and I go home, and I call that a filler friend, and I don't mean to sound fucked up about it, but we're filling each other's time when the real people that we want to spend time with aren't around. And I'm not doing it with people I can't stand. But what I realized is that there are unconditional friends and there are conditional friendships. There are certain people who, no matter what happens, everything's always okay. There's always an unconditional, we never had an argument. Even if we don't agree, we disagree in a respectful way. And then there's people who get on your fucking nerves, who you have conditionals. Like, I like this girl this much about you I like. But this thing I don't like about you, I have to deal with. We have to talk about it. We're going to end up in an argument. And so what I'm finding out is that I argue with the conditional friends. And I don't argue with the unconditional friends. And so most of the conditional friends, I realize, are the filler friends. So there's I worked at a hotel, and so there's the front of the house people, and then there's the back of the house people. If you are back of the house people, most of the time you don't go to the front of the house. Now, the front of the house can go to the back of the house, but we're not doing the same thing back there. We're looking, right? But the back of the house people are working hard. Front of the house people are working hard, but different kind of working. But front of the house people, when they do go in the back of the house, aren't working as hard as the back of the house. That's all I'm saying. And you front of the house people know what I'm talking about. I feel like that about friendships. My front of the house people and my back of the house people. My back of the house people are the forever friends, the one who I have unconditional love for, because we're working harder and we get it. Like, we're in the midst of it together. Then the front of the house people, now in a hotel environment, it would be the opposite, because the front of the house people is the one who is exposed to the public and Then the back of the house people are fixing things and working on things but they're really keeping the shit going, right? So does that make sense? Because to me it does. So what I think has happened as you grow up and your friends move away and get married, all of my closest friends, my nearest and dearest friends, live outside of the city. My friends in the city, I have friends in the city, and you know who you are, and we tend to be each other's filler. And I'm not mad at you for you calling me the front of the house. I'm not. I get it. You want to go to a movie? I'll go to a movie. I don't go to a movie. That's such a fucking lie. I don't want to deal with having to be uncomfortable in a position with either side, especially with the side, my forever side, the back of the house. My forever friends, and there's a lot of them, and I don't want to share that. And I don't want there to be any weird moments with the newer friends. What I think I tried to do when it comes to the friend groups is not merge the two together, because I think it gets messy. And with my oldest and dearest friends, like we do some really cool shit together. And I do cool things with the front of the house friends too, the conditional friends, but it's just like I don't like them to merge, because then I'm in a weird position where I don't want to have to, you know what it is? I don't want to have to include everybody in everything. Does that make sense? Like if I have a friend coming in who I haven't seen, one of my besties, say Shelley's coming in from North Carolina, I don't want to have to invite the girl I just saw 5 days last week who lives in my building with me. I had it happen years ago when I lived on Grand Street that I had, I had my apartment building friends, and then I had my outside friends, and then I feel a way of that I have to incorporate everybody, and I don't want to have to do that. Even in your closest friends, there's some people that you just love unconditionally, and there's other people who have conditions with. It's like, I love you a lot, but when you do this, it drives me nuts. And those are the friends that you call each other about. You can talk about that friend to another friend and kind of both feel the same way, or not both agree on it, but understand that there's this one thing. And then you have friends that you don't feel like that about at all. It's weird. It's like conditional and unconditional. Does that make sense to you guys? You understand what I mean? I'm not saying that I'm using them or they're using me, but it's almost like when you're a fat old rich guy who's got a boat full of 20-year-olds in Ibiza, let's say, Ibiza, whatever the fuck it is. Now, yeah, these girls are all using the fat guy, and guess what? The fat guy is using the young girl. So it's like, who's wrong in the situation? There's nobody using each other. Someone's getting what they need from this. So when it comes to front of the house friends, back of the house friends, and unconditional or filler, I think everyone's getting what they need. When it's one of the friendships that are, location-based, certain things you have in common. Like I used to go to Wonder Bar Pilates all the time, and I made friends with girls in Wonder Bar, and they were my Wonder Bar Pilates friends. So it's like, there's nothing wrong with having a friend for specific things. I think for me, it gets messy when one world goes into the other world, and that is something I don't like. And I don't know if I'm alone in that, but I feel like I don't like my food to touch, right? When you used to get like, TV dinners and everything had its own little house. Everything was compartmentalized. I like my life compartmentalized. I don't like to merge shit. Like, I don't want my family hanging out with my friends. I don't want my friends. Well, that's not true. I do merge those, I guess. But only the front of the house. No, the back of the house. However you call yours, or whatever groups you put people in, or however you see it, I do think it is an interesting take that there are unconditional friendships and conditional friendships. And it doesn't make anyone a better friend or a closer friend. It just means that some people you have an unconditional, I guess that they don't have those things that annoy you. And then you have friends that have condition because they do these things that get on your nerves. So there's conditions to it. That being said, that's separate from the front of the house, back of the house, and friends who are, your forever friends, and people that you spend a lot, the people you'd vacation with, people that traveling with someone is a really big deal. And I think that those people fall into, for me, the back of the house people. Not that any one group is more important than the other group, or that your unconditional friends, your conditional friends have any more special place, but it is just the way in which those friendships work. There are friends that you argue with, and there are friends that you don't. Personally, I should say friends that I argue with, friends that I don't. Friends that have things that irritate me, friends that don't. So I'm wondering if everybody has that, or if it's just me, and what you call it. Because it doesn't minimize how I feel or change the way I feel about a person. The other thing about the front of the house and the back of the house friends is you can't keep them apart, I mean, there are times it's like, oh, let's all have dinner. And I'm not that kind of fucking weirdo, like I don't want Mary to meet Jane or Jen. It's not like that. But it's just somehow I get very uncomfortable if I have to feel like I'm leaving somebody out. And that's why the merging of the worlds makes me uncomfortable. When everything starts to collide and the worlds meet, and I'm left to have to balance it or somehow make somebody feel comfortable in a space they've never been in or feel responsible, I don't like it. And that's why I think my friendships I have kept in the way I have. And again, my friends have all met each other, but I kind of try to keep a line between, like, it's almost like people have mom friends, right? There's people who go to school who take their kids to class, and you guys are allowed to say, oh, those are my mom friends. Those are my soccer friends. Well, I don't have babies and I don't have soccer. So like, how do I word it without sounding like an asshole? So I'm saying front of the house, back of the house for lieu of saying, or conditional and unconditional. where like you're cool for this, but you're not cool for that. Does that make sense? You know, soccer mom friends and like school friends, you have ballet friends, all those things. I can't have any of those things. I have dog park friends, but it's too cold to go to the fucking dog park. So it's like, it's kind of a strange thing when you need to figure out a balance of friendships in your 50s, because some of the newer friendships don't really gel with the older friendships and have different opinions or see me differently. I guess it's also like, am I the same person to everybody? That's an interesting take. Like, who am I to everybody? Do you think, am I any different? I think that I probably would have friends who say that I'm a little controlling or bossy to them, and other friends would say they don't see that about me with them. But then, of course, they see it in my personality to other people. That's another, I think, conditional, unconditional thing. And I'm just trying to sort it because my worlds collided recently and it put me in an uncomfortable position, and it's all fine. But it was like, why am I uncomfortable? What is it about me? What's going on? What is this opening up, right? What is this bringing up in me? Because my friends didn't give a fuck. It was just me having a tweak out. I get very caught up in like how to make it right and what's to make it the least uncomfortable for everybody. And I'm kind of, I think it's going to be a problem before there actually is a problem, and I get myself all in a tizzy. Do you guys have that? Do you have like friends that does that make sense? I guess people do. Moms say it, and without hesitation, they'll say, oh, she's my school friend, or, you know, my son and their son play together. So it's almost like when you're a dog mom, you have the same thing. My dog plays with other dogs. I was not going to talk about my dog in this episode because I talk about him all the time, but he's the best. He's just the best. But I mean, it does come up. It's like, of course, I'll have friends that are dog friends. And like, I guess if I was like a coffee person, you'd meet people at the coffee shop. Like, everyone's got their little thing. So that's all. It was interesting to kind of sit back and think about, because I have a lot of time on my hands, is the back of the house friends and front of the house friends, the fillers, and then who I love unconditionally as a friend and who I love with conditions as a friend, and who am I to them? Where do I fall into and anyone else? It's kind of funny. Am I someone's back of the house or front of the house? I'm definitely someone's filler, and that's fine. Anyway, I find things to talk about in my own fucking head when no one else is around, and these are the things. This is inside of Kelley's brain, so welcome. You got a Xanax? You should take one. Or share. It is Valentines. I love a Xanax. Put it in a chocolate box. Well, now that we've discovered dirty stories, masturbation, vibrators for friends, I think it's time we wrap it up so we can all go home and, you know, take care of ourselves. Just kidding. Didn't want to make it dirty, but I'm a little, you know, I talk about my dirty stories. I get a little hot under the collar. Or maybe it's the beard. Or a hot flash. You never know. Although, you know what? No, my hormones are completely balanced right now. It's some weird, it's very strange. I'm neither sweaty nor freezing. I'm not fat nor skinny. Everything's working out right now. So thank you, Jesus, for small miracles. Hair got thicker. I think I've leveled off on the hormones this week. Wait till next week when I show up with like one hair and a wart. Thank you guys for coming. Thank you for tuning in again, coming back to see me. I really appreciate it. It's a great episode. So happy to have you here. Hope you find me interesting and care about the stupid shit I talk about. I don't even know what I'm talking about half the time, but the vibrators, that's really funny. And the dirty stories. Stick around. At some point, I'm going to read them. Thank you so much. Have an incredible Valentine's Day. Tell the people you love them. Be nice to the people that you don't like. Give a compliment without saying a but, and accept one wholeheartedly and just say thank you. Please come back. Look forward to seeing you. Happy Valentine's Day. And thank you for tuning in. Still can't cook. Hey guys, thank you so much for showing up for Still Can't Cook. Subscribe to us wherever you listen to your podcasts, on YouTube or any other podcast provider. And if you're on Instagram or TikTok, please follow us at Still Can't Cook. Love to have you guys back every week. So happy that you joined us and look forward to seeing you next week.